Last year I couldn't even save £100 a month. Fast forward a year and I'm now investing £2,000 a month with no major income increase and no extra side hustle, literally just by being smart with my money. I wanted to break down exactly how I did that in case it helps someone else that's in the same spot that I was in a year ago. So at 21 I was earning 45 grand a year and living at home. I had no real responsibilities, no kids, no mortgage, and yet I was still living paycheck to paycheck. The problem I had was lifestyle creep. The more I earned, the more I spent. And I'm going to break down exactly how much I was spending on everything and how I changed it to create the gap I have now. So at the time, my fixed monthly essentials were £550. This includes fuel, rent and van payments. Then my other bills such as subscriptions and car insurance was coming to about £300, so it was totaling to about £850 a month. At the time I was bringing home around £3,000 a month, so where was the rest going? That's a very good question because I actually have no clue. That means I was wasting £2,000 a month, so £24,000 a year I was spending it all on takeaways, clothes, drinks and random purchases. Nothing memorable or anything, literally just throwing money at the wall. What made me realise how bad it had gotten was thinking back to my apprenticeship at 16. Back then I was making £800 a month and somehow I was saving £500 of it. I have a few more bills now, don't get me wrong, they're unavoidable, but that's maybe like an extra £300 a month. It's nothing crazy. It definitely doesn't justify the amount I was wasting, that's for sure. Not only that, but I was hearing about my friends who earned half of what I was earning, and they had about 10 grand in their savings, even more, and that just made me think, like, what am I actually doing with my life right now? And the real wake-up call came during a slow period at work when I wasn't getting paid. I had no savings, nothing to fall back on, and that was the moment I knew I had to make a change. So, let's talk about how I did this. Step 1, I audited my spending. The first thing I did was sit down and go through my bank statements line by line. I looked at everything, both the non-negotiable bills and the extra stuff I didn't really need. After cutting out unused subscriptions like Netflix and I think even Adobe was in there, which is an editing software I can't even remember signing up for, I got my total monthly costs from $850 down to around $640, so that one step saved me over £2,500 a year. Next, I gave myself a fun money budget. £400 a month for going out, takeaways, clothes, whatever I wanted. £400 is still a lot, but I did want to make sure this lifestyle was sustainable. Before this, I was spending upwards of £2,100 a month on those things. Genuinely, I don't know how. I don't think I could do that now if I tried, to be honest. By setting that £400 cap, I was saving over £21,000 a year, and also it meant I could still go out, enjoy life. I just needed to be intentional with my spending and not go overboard. Step 3 was to pay off my debt. So once I had my spending under control, I tackled my debt. I had around $1,800 on one credit card from a holiday I couldn't afford, and then I had $800 on a second one from buying things I couldn't afford. At this point I was saving around $1,900 a month I think, and I was able to clear both of these cards within a few months. It was the best feeling ever. Once you're debt free, you'll never let yourself be in debt again. Of course there's things like houses which are unavoidable in the real world, but in terms of using a credit card to buy a holiday, nah, I'm alright, I won't be doing that again. The fourth thing I did was build an emergency fund. After I was debt free, I focused on building an emergency fund. The general rule is to save around 3 to 6 months of essential expenses. For me, that meant about £350 a month to cover my van and my rent if something went wrong. So I saved up £3,000 just to be safe, and I parked it in a high interest savings account. Step 5, I started investing. Now that I had no debt and I had a safety net, I started investing. I'm now earning about £50,000 a year, and after covering my total monthly expenses and setting aside $400 for fun, I've got over £2,000 a month left. I throw all of this into the S&P 500. It's an index fund that's averaged around 10% returns over time. I don't really want to touch on that too much right now because I might save it for another video if people are interested. But it feels amazing to know my money is working for me instead of it burning away to inflations in a savings account. Or in my case, down the kebab shop or on some stupid luxury designer clothing brand. So yeah, that's how I went from living paycheck to paycheck to investing over £2,000 a month. No new job, no side hustle, just better habits. I'm not saying this will work exactly the same for everyone because I know in the real world people have responsibilities and bigger challenges to overcome, but no matter where you're at, the key is making that gap between what you earn and what you spend as big as possible, even if it's just £100 a month. You don't need to be rich to get ahead, you just need to be intentional. Saying no to takeaways or nights out, it isn't fun, but I promise seeing your money grow and watching it build freedom for your future, it feels so good, and it feels way better than any impulse purchase you could ever make. Let me know in the comments where you're at with your financial journey, whether you're just starting or you're already investing. I'd love to hear it. And yeah, if there's any topics you want me to make videos on, let me know. Thank you guys for watching and have a blessed rest of your day.